Well, hello, VC, Uncle Roddus here again with yet more videos. 2 videos this time. I'm going to have to do a 2-parter because I've got quite a lot happening here, and my camera will only let me do about 20 minutes, and I've got too many records to probably show in that time. So we're going to do two videos. So I'm going to split this up. There's a place, an online shop as such, called Lingering Sounds. Basically it's a guy in Christchurch who is importing directly from the record labels, I guess, some pretty obscure and unusual music that he's then selling online for pretty good prices. It's reissue stuff of quite old music, so that new pressings and new reissues of fairly old music, and pretty bizarre, unusual stuff that you don't probably see here in the shops really and locally, and some of it I've never seen before or heard of, but some of it I am familiar with. And he'd had some stuff on his website that I've been eyeing up for quite some time, and I did buy some CDs off him a while back. And I met the guy, I went and picked them up, and met the guy, did the purchase, picked them up directly from him. And so he's a pretty enthusiastic music collector and into all sorts of stuff. So he had a bunch of Igor Wakerich albums that I'd been eyeing up for a while. Now I bought the 2 first Igor Wakerich albums off Discogs earlier this year, late last year. And I really like his music, really impressive music. So I've been eyeing them up, but I just really didn't have the funds to go and hit them. So what ended up happening was I was quite lucky. I did a big cable purchase through work. They had a big special going through my wholesalers, and buying a whole bunch of cable actually entitled me to get this little Prezi thing called a Prezi card, which is like a little Visa card, preloaded Visa card, and I got $300, so I went shopping. And then I also got another small Visa Prezi card for $50 for some other products that I bought. So hey, the joys of being self-employed. So really cool. So let's get into these. First one up. This is Igor Wakerich's Let's Start album. Originally came out in 1979, according to this. He's a French avant-garde composer, mixes classical and electronics and psychedelic in some ways sounds. These albums they're all kind of a little bit different from each other actually. They're they're all not just on the same stuff. So he certainly does a lot of different stuff. You're actually listening to one in the background. Actually this one here, Neg Ghoul. Don't ask me how to say the rest of that. This one's from 1977, so this is the previous one to Let's Start. He seemed to put out one every about 2 years, so that's what we're listening to now. And then Hathor, this one's from 1973, so if we're going backwards in order, this one's 1975, so this is Les Faustor, music composed for the Caroline Carson Dance Theatre. And so that one, and then Hathor, going backwards, and then previously in 1971 he released an album called Dr. Forced, which I've shown before, which is really one that really impresses me. And that's a lot more psychedelic and rock and very bizarre. It's a little bit different from the other 3. These ones here are really good. I mean, this is the first time I've played Neg Ghoul, because I've played the other 3, and they're all really good. Really impressed with them. So I bought those with the Prezi card. So what I actually did was, because it's an online shop, what happened was the online shop, unfortunately he's taken it down because he wasn't selling enough records and couldn't afford to keep it going. But he did have it still on Facebook. He actually has a Facebook page, which is, you can actually still buy the records through the Facebook page. So I had enough funds to buy something like about 7 records, but I had to pay postage. So I ended up paying postage on each record. So when I contacted him and said, well, I'll come into town and pick them up, and the money I paid for postage we used to purchase another couple of records. So I ended up with, must be 9 records. So I had basically the ones I purchased, and then I had a look through what he had on the shelf and picked out another couple. This is one I picked out. This one here is, what's it called? Cybertron. Just pop that out of there. Cybertron, Sunday night at the Total Theatre. This is an Australian duo, electronic, kraut rock kind of noodlings. 2 basically tracks, one on each side. I guess it's probably improvised sort of music, perhaps. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. I'd sort of never really seen it before, so pretty cool. This one here, Pauline Oliveros. I'd heard of her before. I read a review of a compilation CD that was put out a couple of 3 years ago. I think I read the review in Uncut, and she is pretty avant-garde from what I understand in electronic. And this album here was actually released somewhere around 1970, I think. Oh, sorry, hang on, no. The performances are from 1970 and 1977. I'm not actually sure when the album itself was released, but if ever. But this is a 2011 Roratorio release, and what's it called? To Valerie Solanas and Marilyn Monroe. Well, we all know who Marilyn Monroe is. Valerie Solanas was a radical feminist from the late 1960s who was involved with SCUM, SCUM, who were she was actually the founder of SCUM, the founder of the Society for Cutting Up Men, and she was the author of the SCUM Manifesto, and she was also, her main claim to fame is she was also the one who tried to shoot, or did shoot, Andy Warhol. So, a bit of a loony there. So more from Lingering Sounds. This one I finally picked up after many months of procrastinating about it. I'd seen it being shown on a couple of videos, and I listened to it on Bandcamp, and then Roger showed it, and I think from pretty much sold out after that. They sold out all the copies off the Bandcamp site, and then I saw this on the Lingering Sounds site. Now, if anyone wants to get a hold of a copy of this still, Lingering Sounds said he has a couple of copies, maybe 3 copies or 2 or 3 copies left. So look him up on Facebook, Lingering Sound, if you want to get that, because this is pretty much going to be out of print. Also, now that's from this is a New Zealand release, but it's from a very un-New Zealand name, Guy Marco Liguri, who is the founder of Sarang Bang Records, who released this. Also on Sarang Bang Records is this one, which I also got from Lingering Sounds. Bernie McCann's 1966 is the album, and it's a live recording from Sydney in 1966. It's quite avant-garde. I'd never actually heard of any of the players on it, but it's a little bit before my time, to be honest. The recording's a little bit rough around the edges, but it's pretty cool music. And finally, from Lingering Sounds, I picked up this one here. It's probably not that easy to see, and it doesn't help that it's upside down. This is a reissue of a New Zealand artist called Gate. Gate is a fella by the name of Michael Morley, who is in a band called the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea are a noisy, droney, improvisational type band, and this is kind of similar in some ways. It's a fairly droney, drawn out guitar, very lo-fi. The first track, when I heard it, I was thinking, ooh, I don't know, I'm not know if I'm going to like this. but actually once I got into the record, it got a lot better. Yeah, no, so I do quite enjoy it. So yeah, it's a double album, and it's a reissue on an English label called MIE. Originally was released in 1994. The album is called The Do Line, so that's Gate, The Do Line. So that is my pile from Lingering Sound, and when I went into town to pick them up, I also went shopping at the record shop. So I'm going to make another video to show those, because I ain't going to have enough time to do it on this camera right now. So come back and see my next video, and I'll show you what I bought at the local record shops. Catch you.